Technical difficulties. All right, cool. Look at this countdown. Welcome to Lost Theologies. My name is Chad. I need to get some music going. Need to learn how to use StreamYard better. Need to work on my countdown. So many technical issues. Oh my gosh. Let's remove that from the stream. Welcome, James. How's it going? You're the only one here. So today I wanted to talk about Christianity, minimal facts and maximal facts. I was thinking about the minimal facts arguments for the resurrection, the reliability of Scripture, and basically it's an attempt to kind of like figure out what do all historians agree on are the basics of early Christianity and the basics of the resurrection, and then what's the best hypothesis to explain those minimal facts that all historians agree on. And I started to think about other religions and other new religious movements that start. And if something like Mormonism, if you once you start to learn more about the character and if you have minimal facts, you won't really get the full picture of what's going on. Whereas if you know more about the people that started these movements, your suspicion and skepticism might increase for what they said and believed. So I started tweeting a few maximal facts, and that's where I got this list here. So what I'm going to do is talk about a possible minimal fact for Christianity, and then I'm going to introduce a maximal fact, which is not real. So these maximal facts are not something we can prove, but they could be real. They are, normal things that happen in human life and in human experience. And if we knew about them, hey, Anonymous, what's up? If we knew about them, would they change our judgment of early Christianity or the people involved? So hopefully you can see my slides there. Next, maximal fact number 1. So Paul was so impacted by his encounter with Jesus that he started many successful churches. So we can say already that we know that there was this guy named Paul, and he had some kind of encounter with the risen Jesus. And because that was so powerful, he started many successful churches. We know this. Historians agree on it. Christians agree on it. And they might use this as a reason to trust Paul. But what if we had another fact, a maximal fact? And what if we found out before Paul experienced Jesus, he had spent 3 years starting with little success many churches about John the Baptist, the Messiah? What if he had gone around making tents and telling people about John the Baptist and how he was the Lord? And that didn't really take off. We don't know. This is just a guess. Maybe it just happened. We don't know. But we would never know because it was lost to history. But that's a maximal fact that would change. If it were true, it would change our view of Paul. Maybe he was just trying out ideas. Maximal fact number 2. So the minimal fact is Paul saw the risen Christ and converted. This is kind of similar to the one we just talked about. This comes up a lot in apologetic discussions. How could someone like Paul so change from one thing to another? Such a dramatic conversion must mean there's a hint of truth to it. But what if we found out that Paul was a traveling awning maker, and he was evangelistic about Judaism as a traveling awning maker? So he tried to convert people to Judaism, but he didn't make very many converts because the subject of circumcision kept coming up. So he would talk about Judaism, how great Yahweh was, how great the religion was, how it was so much better than the idolatry of the Greeks, and he would get several people interested in Judaism and in his business. They'd be coming around every day, but the subject of circumcision would come up, and these adult men were just not going to go that far. And he eventually dropped that requirement when he converted to Christianity. So maybe if we understood Paul's reasoning and his failed attempts to convert people to Judaism, that might undermine his good faith conversion to Christianity. Another minimal fact, the apostle Peter, the disciple Peter, he claims he saw the risen Jesus. We can just say, let's say he saw the risen Jesus. That's a minimal fact. And in fact, a lot of apologists will say all the disciples saw the risen Jesus and they were all willing to die for him and for that belief. But what if we had a maximal fact? What if we found out, Peter was, 79 years old? He was kind of, getting on in years. He was kind of questionable mental state. He was, what if we found out that Peter was, not only was he 79 years old, but he was in and out of sleep all day long. And he also claimed to see his deceased brothers and his mom and Moses. In fact, like every other day, he was saying he saw Moses talking to him, and even Hercules. He had heard about these Greek stories, and even Hercules visited him. And boy, he told everyone around him, the people that came to take care of him, and changed his soiled clothes and bed sheets. Moses came to me yesterday, and oh, that's nice, Peter. That's nice. And then another day he'd be like, I saw Jesus yesterday. And those were the stories that people kept telling. They didn't tell about, how Peter saw Moses and Hercules and how he slept all day and how he was 79 years old and very out of it. Maximal fact number 4. So we have the minimal fact that some of the apostles saw the risen Jesus. In fact, apologists will point out that they were willing to die for this belief. But what if we had the maximal fact that they had been water fasting for 2 days in the Middle Eastern summer? So we know now with modern medicine and science that fasting and dehydration is not necessarily a good thing. In fact, it can induce hallucinations and impaired mental states. What if we found out that the apostles were regularly fasting from food and water? Would that change our confidence in what they said and whether it was true or not? We wouldn't necessarily know this maximal fact. This is basically an exercise in selection bias. So there are minimal facts that have been selected by Christians throughout the centuries. And those are the ones that have filtered down to us and trickled down to us, those minimal facts, what they thought was important. All these maximal facts that I've admittedly just made up, they could be true, but we would never know them. So next time you encounter a minimal fact about Christianity or any developing religion, think about what else could be there in the historical record that we wouldn't know about. And think of some maximal facts that might change your mind about the minimal facts that have been passed on to you from true believers. And that's all I've got. Thanks for tuning in to Lost Theologies. I'm Chad. Hopefully I'll be back soon. Thanks for my viewers. We got 5 watching. That's pretty cool. Welcome, Rocket Ryan. High fives to you. Thank you. We will see you guys later.